Our buddy
I
Joe
think,
Biden. Now
yeah,
this is so far unverified, Dave. I read this only from one source and ran out of time. But apparently, Joe Biden is going to cover the cost of all of this
yeah. How
stuff.
about that? No, it's not Joe Biden. It's going to be you and me,
Well, of
other
course.
taxpayers.
Now,
Biden,
I wonder if he did the same thing for those folks up in Hickory, North Carolina, or have
of
they
course
ever
not.
gotten their $750 yet?
Too
Uh,
many MAGAs
we
there.
have a bifurcated justice system in this country. Apparently, we have a bifurcated social system in this country as well under these left leaning clowns. Um, this just another failure of Biden. He's thumbing his nose at the folks that put the knife between his ribs a little while back. And he's thumbing his nose at the rest of us citizens who end up ultimately stuck with this thing.
Yeah.
Uh, Anyway, as far as California goes, it's burning pretty thoroughly, and I
Yeah.
feel very bad for the folks that live there. I know how I would feel if my house was burnt to the
Yep.
ground, and our entire little neighborhood out here burnt to the ground. I'd be pretty unhappy. Uh,
Did
these
you know
folks
that
literally
Donald
have no
Trump,
place to go.
JJ, did you know that in 2018, Donald Trump was standing in California with Governor Newsom and said, you ought to do something with the undergrowth under these trees that are all dry and could go off in a minute. You ought to do what the Europeans do. They come out and they rake them up and they get rid of all this undergrowth. And that was in 2018. And there's a clip of him actually saying so. Did this
Yeah,
guy
but
take heed to that? Hell
it's
no.
worse. It's worse than that, Dave. California has some of the wackiest environmental laws that there are.
Yeah.
They diverted fresh water from the north into the ocean to save the striped snail darter. A little
And they need
snail.
that. They had no water. These are
Uh,
these are firemen
these
walking
people
around
are
with
nuts.
women. They
They
actually
have
had
environmental.
of firemen with women's purses filled with water, trying to throw it into the flames with just these purses. That was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Just
This
about.
was bound to happen eventually, and it turned into quite a mess. And apparently, what I was seeing this morning early on Fox News, there are a mighty big number of folks in California who are saying Newsom's got to go. The mayor of Los
Yeah.
Angeles has got to go.
Oh yeah.
These policies have resulted in a disaster. And I mentioned the environmental laws in California are some of the kookiest I've ever heard of. There are townships in California, I think Malibu was one of them, that preclude you from raking up the debris around your house. They want it to look natural.
Sure.
Well, it looks naturally like ash at this point. And what a crime to allow the insane to run your government. Uh, there's
You know,
something so wrong with that.
something weird about being on the largest ocean right there, the largest ocean in the world, the Pacific Ocean, and having all this water in northern California, and they can't put out anything there. I mean, they just now are getting some of these fires into control where they had zero control early this morning, and now they're going to have another Saint or Anna, whatever they call it, winds
Santa
coming
Ana
through.